Welcome out to Joliet Memorial Stadium, the Olivet Nazarene, one of the best teams in the CCAC, taking on the USF the Saints, I beg your pardon. It is the ONU Tigers against the USF Saints here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. I'm Matt Schumacher, take you through some of the starting lineups as we get this game going. Beautiful Wednesday night for soccer out here in the suburbs of Chicago. And the Saints will get the ball to start. Both teams undefeated so far in conference play. And the Tigers ranked nationally at one point in this season before losing a couple of games early on. A very good team. Both teams have dealt with some injuries early in this season, including USF. Really kind of playing with a makeshift back line. Had a chance to talk with second-year head coach Daniel Cross about that. A lot of youth on that back line, but there's plenty of confidence in some of his younger players coming in from overseas. He's done a great job of recruiting globally, and they feel good about their chances in this game here tonight. Some of the key players to watch: Miguel Duran in the midfield for ONU. You see him there wearing number 17. Just handled the ball. A formidable midfielder in the CCAC conference. ONU coming in having won 4 of the last 5 conference tournament championships. They've had NAIA tournament bids in each of the last 2 seasons. It's a very offensive-oriented group. ONU nearly doubling the goals scored of their opponents this season. And we've seen that so far in the first 5 minutes of this game, really handling the possession of the ball. (2-0) in the conference. ONU, in both of those wins, scored 3 goals. And on the other hand, St. Francis also coming in at 2-0 this season in the conference. And traditionally, this has been a well-contested match between these 2 schools. Shot there, the starting keeper for USF, just a freshman, Carlos Ferrer Cotto, has started in all 7 games that he has played in this season, and he's been a great keeper. Now some action. ONU. Boy, that was a close one, and a misplayed ball on the back line, and perhaps that is where some of the inexperience has come into play. Again, a makeshift back line right now for USF. They've dealt with a handful of injuries on the defensive side of things. And when there has been a breakdown defensively, Coach Daniel Cross mentioned that he feels that inexperience on the back line has played a role in at least some of their early losses this season. Now a throw into the box and a chance on net, blocked away. USF on their heels early in this game. ONU committing numbers forward in the first 5 minutes. That young man right there on the reset, number 7, Leon Leskowski. Boy, has he been a force this season, and a player that the coaching staff has been very pleased with, as you might imagine. 2 goals and 2 assists on this season. Now, how does USF control here in the offensive third? And it goes right back to ONU. An interesting story about Leskowski. He was a primary starter last year up top, and this season lost his starting spot on the offensive side of things, but the coaching staff gave him a chance on the defensive line, and he made the most of it and has now gotten a couple of starts, and a close one there for USF, booted away by the starting keeper tonight, who came up a little bit hobbly there. That's Chris Taborn for ONU. Now a ball played forward and a foot race to the net. Well played on the back line that time. That was number 13, Jurin Vandergun. One of the veterans on this upperclassman-laden back line for ONU. So really quite a contrast between these two teams with respect to the experience on the defensive side of the ball, and that's part of the reason that ONU comes in ranked so highly. So many returning players, not just from the tournament run in 2015, but also the tournament run in 2014. Been some good action here in the first 7 minutes of this match. Keepers have been kept busy, although really no threats immediately in front of goal. They have been kept on their toes. And that was really to be expected coming into this match. Both teams 2-0 in the conference. ONU nationally ranked to start the season. And USF coming in after reloading in the offseason. This is a new coaching regime. Head coach Daniel Cross in his second season, and he really felt like last year there was still a feeling of a little bit of disappointment and frustration of really continue losing over a handful of seasons, but this year he can sense kind of a different vibe amongst his players, a vibe of belief, a vibe of confidence and energy, and they have played with that energy from the get-go this season, despite some of the injuries and adverse situations that they've been in. And one of those, they have a player out right now, and a player that they really feel has done a great job, Brian Castillo. Freshman, came in, surprised the coaches, won a starting spot. He is out right now due to a suspension after 2 yellow cards. And what a slide tackle on the left side. A heck of a play on the back line by USF, and they regain possession. What can USF do here? It's kind of been interesting. There hasn't been a really sustained attack from them thus far. The possession has been squarely in favor of ONU. The ball well played on the back line that time by Ferrer Cotto. Just a freshman keeper. The coaching staff has been pleased with how he's come in and kind of handled the reins, especially given the fact that this back line is so young. Nice touch. Tell you what, Richard Schneider, senior, typically playing in the midfield, but they have dropped him back this year for ONU. But as you watch him, he brings the ball up quite far on the pitch. And, you know, it's not unlikely that we'll see him sort of build from the back on numerous occasions tonight if he's given the opportunity, because he is such a good facilitator and has been in the midfield for the majority of his career. But due to injuries, they felt like they could use him on the back line and use his veteran presence. And he's handled a couple of iffy balls in the defensive third a couple of times tonight. He was a big part of that 2014-2016 teams that made the NAIA tournament. And now some action down the left wing. This is Kelvin Ndlovu. And this is going to be the first corner kick of the match, and the first time that USF will have numbers in the box. First 12+ minutes of this game, they've really, the only threats they've had in front of net have been long passes in. And the service. Flicked on net, an opportunity. Bodies on the floor, and it's cleared away by ONU's back line. And now a chance to counter. And another beautiful slide tackle, that time by number 23 on the back line for USF. And now a chance. I beg your pardon, that's 29, Christian Petangelo. And he's been a nice surprise for this USF coaching staff. Freshman out of the Congo. Had a remarkable prep career. Coach is glad to have his presence on the back line despite being just a freshman, but he's handled a couple of really nice runs from ONU and really disregarded some of the offensive pressure that the Tigers have put on the Saints tonight. That's a player to watch right there. Marcus Wallach wearing number 7 for ONU. A junior out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin. 7 goals in 2016. He already has 4 this year and 2 assists to boot. And now Richard Schneider will play the restart. Schneider has a great service, tries to play it down the line, and now an opportunity for ONU. Ball into the box. Still with an opportunity. And a shot deflected. Now in front of net, saved by Cotto. And offside ultimately called. We've got a player down in the box, and I believe that is number 29, and that's a shame. Christian Petangelo. Being tended to by Ferrer Cotto. Down on all fours. Perhaps just gathering his breath. He hit the deck hard after a ball came off of his chest. Tell you what, there has been a lot of action in this first 15 minutes of the match tonight. And if this pace keeps up, a ball will certainly find the back of the net for one of these two teams. At least one, perhaps more. That was one of the things that head coach Daniel Cross told me in the lead up to this match, if both teams play their best, it will be very tightly contested, but it'll be the mistakes or perhaps one team coming out too slow or finishing sloppily in one of the first or in one of the two halves that will sort of open this thing up, and I think that's what we've seen thus far. Not a lot of space to create in the midfield, but if you can get behind the back line, there are opportunities. And a run being made. Jose Martinez handling well in the midfield. Referee tonight, Miguel Panduro. And the line judges, Bruce Bodie and Kevin Walter. Cotto out of the back. And now fought for by Martinez. Keeps it in play. Has numbers forming up front. Can USF control? No. Patience has not been there yet tonight for the Saints. They've been quick to pass when perhaps the best play right there was for Mohamed Rashid to hang on to that ball. Here's Mushabani trying to create, and he's dropped down. It'll be a free kick for ONU. And now USF will have to organize defensively. This is certainly a tough spot to put the defense and your freshman keeper in with so many attacking weapons for ONU. Richard Schneider taking the kick. Ball in. Flicked on net and it misses wide. The chances continue for both of these teams, and particularly ONU in the opening 20 minutes. We are through the first 18 minutes of this match, still tied at 0. But there have been plenty of opportunities in the offensive third for both clubs to put the ball in front of net and keep these keepers on their toes. And a run made up top. That's Wallach. And he is fought off again. The freshman, Christian Batangelo. That's a name that USF fans will hear a lot. Probably not only this season, but in the next 3 years to come. Just a freshman out of the Congo. And again, a player that the coaches weren't really quite sure, how much of an impact he would have this season, what his adjustment would be like to playing college soccer in one of the tough conferences in all of NAIA, the CCAC, but he's made a great adjustment this far this season. Some physical play down there in the right corner. Still hanging on to it, and an opportunity for ONU. And down he goes just outside the box, and another set piece opportunity for the Tigers. What a job by Tumi Mushabani. Hanging on to the ball. That's number 23. A junior out of South Africa for the Tigers. Now, who will take this free kick? Couldn't ask for a better angle if you're the Tigers here in the 25th minute. And Mushabani talking things over with Christian Hancock Bernanu. It's Mushabani, and he misses wide. Oh, inches from the post. Things really opening up in the offensive third for ONU, and USF has to be careful. How long can they withstand sustained attacks? And now here they are in the offensive effort. And again, a quick pass when perhaps the better option, hang on to it. Nice combination play, and a ball into the box is dispersed. Now a run being made down the left side. And Mohammed Rashid misses high. Not a bad thought from Mohammed. Leads the team right now in goals with 4. And he has been a cool story. He missed the entire 2015 season. Left the program to handle a family emergency, came back last year, and now in his senior season, leading the offensive effort for this team. Sort of a rebirth to the program as well in the last 2 years with the new head coach, Daniel Cross. ONU trying to make a run. Deflected away. Ball into the midfield. You have to credit USF. It's kind of been, to use a football analogy, a bend, don't break type of first half for them. Under 23 minutes remain in half number 1, and they have been able to keep the ball out of the back of the net despite many opportunities for ONU. Now a ball forward. And the header is won on the ONU back line. Beautiful ball. Here's an opportunity. And Akbaranu gives it off. Shot deflected. They wanted a handball, won't get it. Number 15, Christian Henok Baranu from Bourbonnais, Illinois. He's been a tremendous player in this program, a senior, and a Chicagoan through and through. He played with the Chicago Fire Academy, won a national title in 2011 during his prep days. People in this area well familiar with his skill and his talent. Another great play in the box by Batangelo. Ball forward. A foot race. And taken away by Schneider. But how about the pace up front from Kelvin and Lovu? Now Martinez. USF trying to organize. And we can hear from the press box the coaching staff yelling composure to this USF club. Not bad there, nice effort. Probably the longest that they've held the ball in the offensive third so far here tonight. 20 minutes remaining in the first half, still a 0-0 tie. With the exception of a couple of counter opportunities, it really has been all ONU halfway through half number 1. Ball played long. ONU has really committed numbers up front. They've, for much of this night, really only kept 2 on the back line at home. Everybody else, especially on the wings, has continued to creep up the pitch. And that has left them a bit vulnerable at times, but they've managed to play around it. And now a restart for USF. Who will take this free kick? And from the looks of it, Mohammed Rashid, the 5'10 senior out of Palestine, motioning to his fellow teammates. Shot on goal and fielded with ease by Chris Taborn, the man in net for ONU. And a foul. Back to ONU. Here's a ball played up and an offside. Christian Anakbaranu got a little bit ahead of himself there. But a good run and a nice effort. Good thought on the ball in. Ball played back into the offensive third. Dangerous header back to the keeper, but well fielded by Taborn. Back line for USF holding nicely, keeping ONU from making some of those runs that they had made earlier. Now a ball forward. Good touch. That's Marcus Wallach. Now he plays it off. Opportunity to create, and it's given away. And the first corner kick in quite some time now for ONU. I believe it's their second of the match. Now they'll organize and get some numbers forward. About 16 minutes remaining in the first half. Still tied at 0 from Joliet Memorial Stadium. Just off the campus of St. Francis. Now the ball in. And it's a bit long, headed back and booted out by Mohammed Rashid. Lots of physicality down in that corner, but the ball is maintained by ONU, and now they will give it back, and our head official, Miguel Panduro, has just reached in his pocket for a yellow card, and I'm not sure who that is on. It is on the bench for ONU. They were not happy with that call, and they made it known well throughout this stadium, and Panduro quick to reach to his pocket and pull out the yellow card. This game has been played with pace. It's been fairly open, especially on the side of ONU. They've had some chances to create, but on the other hand, so has USF. They've really found a way to sort of counter some of this ultra attacking scheme thus far, and that is Muhammad Rashid down around the 40-yard line. They've called to the bench for a trainer. Now he's sitting up. A couple of players hovering around him, as is Miguel Pandora, the referee. But this is an opportunity here with just a shade under 15 minutes remaining in this first half for USF to regain possession and hang on to the ball. That has been the big difference in this game thus far. ONU has possessed, and USF quite simply has not. And it's stolen away again, and it's a great defensive effort that time by Brian Pfaff. His brother Michael Pfaff, a freshman, also getting some playing time. The Pfaff brothers. Brother Michael not getting the start tonight. Usually used in a reserve role, both out of Wheaton, Illinois. And a nice ball forward. Opportunity here for ONU as they bring numbers forward to the box. And miss hit. And an offside is called as that ball is sailed wide by Marcus Wallach. He continues to position himself in a threatening way in front of net. Now, USF, 3-on-3 opportunity and blocked away by Schneider. The veteran presence on the back line for ONU. Again, Mushabani trying to organize from the midfield. Back to Mushabani. Now Hanak Baranu. Nine players forward for ONU. Nifty in the box. Shot on net, blocked away by Ferrer Cotto. What a save by the freshman keeper. And the ball goes back to the Tigers. And they will send Blaise Selby to throw it in. Check that. That's Christian Hanak Baranu throwing it in as Selby positions himself in the box. Overthrown. And back at the feet of Baranu. He plays it in. Headed on net and wide. Again, ONU continuing to possess the ball. Some space out wide. USF scrambling to get back. Now a shot on net, wide. They are really just letting it fly from all spots on the pitch right now. That was number 20, Guilherme Cruz, out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. First shot for him of the night. Still no substitutions as we tick down to 10 minutes in the first half. Still tied at 0. CCAC action. One of these teams presumably will leave the night with their first loss of the year in the CCAC. And the way this game has been played thus far, we are guaranteed to see a goal at some point, if not in the first half, surely in half number 2. Now a ball forward, and the pace of that freshman, beg your pardon, the junior Calvin Nlovu. So quick on the pitch. Still just, no, he hasn't had a lot of opportunities to run with space. He's been well marked most of the night by Brian Pfaff, the junior out of Wheaton, Illinois, and a bigger body at 6 foot, 185 pounds. And Nlovu, by contrast, is listed at 5'9", but that might be generous. Now Rashid Muhammad up to Nlovu. And down goes Schneider, tripped up, and it'll go back to ONU. Schneider's, he's been kept active on that back line tonight, again, typically in the midfield position. But the senior's been asked to drop back due to some injuries. Both teams really have had to sort of shuffle things around. USF on the back line and ONU in the midfield. Max Berry, a freshman out of Champaign, Illinois, injured himself in the first match and has sort of dealt with some nagging effects of that, but is expected to play in Saturday's match for ONU. He is not in the game tonight, though. Now Martinez. And Pfaff knocks it out. It'll remain in the possession of the Saints. Now a ball forward to Clay Selby, headed away. And it's played back to Cotto. Physical play, down to the turf goes Schneider, and it's a play-on situation. And now Miguel Panduro will blow the whistle and signal to stop the clock. Well, we knew that coming into this match. I had a chance to speak with both head coaches before the game tonight, and they both mentioned the physicality of each team, and that has not always been the case with USF. In fact, Daniel Cross in his second season as head coach made it a priority with this freshman recruiting class to get some more physical players that can handle the size and strength of the CCAC opponents, and he's done that this year. He's gone out and gotten some freshmen from the international youth circuit, and they've been plugged in and transitioned nicely thus far in their freshman campaign. Ball played ahead by Schneider. Now a run into the box. Tough play, and it's fielded by Ferrer Cotto. The freshman keeper has played with poise in the first half. He's been impressive to watch. He's sustained the fury of the ONU offensive attack. 6.5 minutes to play in half number 1, still tied at 0. A couple of 2-0 clubs giving these fans everything they could have hoped for on a gorgeous Wednesday night here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. Here comes Nlovu. One player ahead, and it's missed. Selby now out wide. Hanak Baranu looking to play it. A nice job defensively by that back line. Now USF committing numbers forward, and a run down the sideline for Inlovu. And it's knocked away by guess who? Schneider again. Stopping a potential threat for USF. Now an opportunity. Fernandez a shot. And it's blocked down by Taborn. Under 5 to go in half number 1. Selby plays it back to Schneider. Switches fields. And now ONU looks to organize. And it'll go back to the Saints on a ball out of bounds. Well, time of possession has certainly been in the favor of the visiting Tigers, but there's an opportunity here. USF has had a couple of good looks upfield, and I'll tell you what, they have an opportunity if they can regain possession, but here's Hanak Baranu, and it's discarded that time. That was number 13 for the Saints, Michael Centillo. Veteran defender for USF. He started or played in all but one game in his career. Coaching staff can certainly count on him with a young bunch on the back line. He is the lone senior for the Saints of that back four. And he has certainly been pressed into action on a number of occasions here tonight, and he will be again here on the throw-in from ONU as they gather in the box. Again, 5 players forward in the 18-yard box. Flicked on net. Now a header in front of goal, and it's blocked away. Again, a sigh of relief for the bench for USF, and now they look to counter. Can USF withstand this attack? Final 2 minutes of the first half. Still tied at 0. What action we have seen here in half number 1 between ONU and USF, two of the top teams in the conference this year, both undefeated, 2-0, coming into this match here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. One minute to play. Time for perhaps one or maybe two more
1 minute.
Opportunities. ONU will get a throw in here inside the 18-yard box. They commit nearly everybody forward. A long throw in. And the ball is ricocheted off the keeper. And now a foot race. Here's Martinez, and he loses control. 35 seconds remain in half number one. Perhaps one last attack here as we tick down to 10 seconds. And instead, we will go to the halftime break tied 0-0. It's been an offensive fury from the visiting ONU Tigers, but it was withstood by a young back line for USF. How will half number two play out? We'll have to wait and see. We'll be back in 15 minutes from Joliet Memorial Stadium.
Stevie! I know you want to cross, Steven! Yeah, Steven!
Welcome back out to Joliet Memorial Stadium for half number 2. It's a 0-0 tie, and be interesting to see what kind of adjustments both clubs make here as we get set to start half number 2. They'll switch sides. ONU really dominated time of possession in the first half, but you really have to credit the youthful back line of St. Francis for hanging tough, clearing out some really challenging and threatening balls in front of net, and of course the play from the goalkeeper, the freshman Ferrer Cotto, was instrumental in half number 1. It's a big game for both teams, both undefeated in the conference, 2-0 apiece, but I think even more so for USF, a team that is coming off a 1-15 season a year ago and coming off a huge win against St. Xavier University earlier in the week. It was their first win against St. Xavier since 2001. So this program already well ahead of where they were just a year ago, and we're only 2.5 games into conference play, and they're hoping to keep this train rolling against one of the top teams in the conference year in and year out in ONU. They've won 4 out of the last 5 CCAC tournament championships. And quite frankly, they've played championship caliber soccer so far in this game. They just haven't had the final touch in front of goal. We'll see how that changes here in half number 2, but USF now with an opportunity. Kelvin and Lovu. And a ball out wide. Well played by the back line. And now some opportunity to create. And a big takedown on the near sideline. And how will the official handle this? He's reaching for his pocket. Miguel Panduro is signaling to the young freshman out of the Congo, Christian Betangelo. And he has given him a yellow card. Nice show of sportsmanship, though, between Betangelo and Moshabani, shaking hands after a vicious takedown on the near side. Tell you what, he did get a lot of ball, but it was a heck of a collision. And now a free kick will be played by Schneider. And Daniel Cross still talking to the officials, one on the near side and the head referee Miguel Panduro, about where that takedown was versus where they've set up for the restart. Here comes the ball in by Schneider. Not quite the result he was hoping for. Here's a run. It's in Lovu. And a collision with the keeper, and Lovu goes down. And they are pulling out a card on the keeper. Taborn has just been given a yellow, so we've seen 2 yellow cards in the first 4 minutes of the second half. And good news for USF, and Lovu is up and under his own power. The ball, boy, that takedown was just outside of the 18-yard box, and it could have provided a penalty kick had it been a step or two closer to net. Instead, it'll be a free kick and a good angle to play for USF. Now, who will take the kick? And it looks like Mohammed Rashid will line up over the ball. This is an opportunity here for USF. They did not have a lot of opportunities like this in half number 1. Rashid, and a ball in the net! Rashid buries it, and a 1-0 lead for USF in the 41st minute of half number 2. What skill on the free kick from the senior out of Palestine, and he blows a kiss to his fans here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. Beautiful skill from the USF forward. He has 5 goals this season, and now here comes ONU right off the kickoff. Boy, how many people would have thought after half number 1 that the first goal scored of half number 2 would have come from the USF Fighting Saints. The way that ONU handled the time of possession in the first half would have suggested that perhaps they would get the breakthrough in half number 2. But a critical takedown in front of the 18-yard box, allowing Mohammed Rashid to bury the free kick. Beautiful placement and execution from the senior. Team leading 5th goal of the season. Now ONU trying to organize and respond with an equalizer. Up ahead, Wallach. And well defended again by the freshman, Christian Betangelo. It'll be a corner kick for the Tigers. In the purple, bringing numbers forward. Wallach stands in front of net. Here's the ball in. And it's headed away nicely by that back line. Boy, what an opening 5 minutes to half number 2. and a foul. So the restart for the ONU Tigers. How will they respond to being down early to a team that they haven't lost to much? It's already been a big week for the USF athletics department, in particular the soccer programs, both men's and women's. Women's team coming off a win last night against ONU, double overtime, scoring with less than 30 seconds left, recording their first win against Olivet Nazarene since 2001 on the women's side. The men trying to do the same thing here tonight against the team in Olivet Nazarene that was ranked 18th in the country coming into the regular season. Mohammed Rashid, calming veteran presence, playing it back. Martinez has it stolen away in the midfield. It's been quite an interesting start to half number two, and a big difference. It's been USF that has been able to control sort of the pace of play, and particularly how the ball has moved in the midfield here, at least through the first 6 minutes of the second half. Now, we'll see how the field opens up, if it does, as it did in half number one, or if they can keep a lid on this ONU offense. Stolen away. Here's an opportunity. And a nice play on the back line by Schneider. But Mohammed Rashid will get a throw in for his St. Francis Fighting Saints. And now the first substitution of the game. Martinez comes out. And checking in, Ivan Cerlino out of Lombard, Illinois. Physicality in the box. Good hard defensive effort. USF continues to maintain numbers forward. And the shot flicked on goal, handled easily by Taborn. Well, you have to wonder if perhaps ONU's changes that they've had to make middle of the season has put them a bit out of sorts. Schneider on the back line, he's played very well, but perhaps missing his touch in the midfield, particularly as the front men organize in the offensive third. I think they have missed a bit of finishing touch. ONU certainly had plenty of opportunities in half number one, and they just could not capitalize in front of goal. And you have to credit both the USF youthful back line as well as the keeper, another freshman in Ferrer Cotto. Now a senior, Mohamed Rashid, already with one goal. He begins to organize here for USF. And a ball in, and it's headed away. We've seen much more composure in the attacking effort for the Fighting Saints here in the second half. 12 minutes through, 1-0 USF. It would be a major upset in the conference. Both teams undefeated, 2-0 coming into the third game of the CCAC play. Now Wallach up ahead in a beautiful play. Sliding tackle by Mason Messina. Sophomore out of Manuka High School in Shorewood, Illinois, and Messina has quietly put together quite a game on the back line. Defensively, coming back to help when needed. He's playing in the midfield tonight. And now a yellow card, the third of the second half, has been given. And that time, I believe it was on Kelvin and Lovu. Beg your pardon, that was Joshua Yeeman receiving the yellow card. Three yellow cards. We're not even 15 minutes into the second half. Now the ball forward and mishandled poorly by Guillermo Cruz. Numbers forward. Here's a ball in. Mohamed Rashid. And a goal! 2-0. Mohamed Rashid has done it again for USF. Shock on the bench for ONU and for the players in the field. Mohamed Rashid, his 6th goal of the season. My goodness, what a turn of events here in half number 2.
St. Francis goal number 9, Mohamed Rashid, assisted by Ivan Serlina.
And now a couple of substitutions made on the side of the men in purple. 3 men come off as 3 new men come in. And a couple of players, Justin Fritz, onto the pitch. Baranu, Christian Henok Baranu comes off, as does Marcus Wallach. So some mass substitutions, particularly up front, perhaps getting some more speed and pace in the forward positions, because now there's a sense of urgency for ONU. Down 2-0, still 30 minutes to play, of course, in half number 2, but where the tables have certainly turned in terms of time of possession, composure in the offensive third. It has been all Saints. Great defensive effort on the back left. And USF derails the offensive attack there for ONU. How about Muhammad Rashid? Played one game in 2015, comes back, deals with a 1-15 season in 2016, and now his senior year helping his team to a 2-0 start. And things are looking good for 3-0. Of course, they have to hang on here, but he leads the team with 6 goals and quite an effort so far tonight. Scoring 2 goals in the second half. Now a shot on the volley, and it misses wide. Truly the first chance here in the second half for ONU, and again, just not that final touch, that necessary composure in the final third to put one away. They've missed wide just barely a number of times tonight. And if in fact they are unable to come back and win this game, I think that will be one of the major things that they look back on. It's just that final composure. And now a ball forward, and the referee waves the flag as an offside. Calvin Ndlovu, what pace from the junior.
You weren't even facing the play. You're in horrible position, sir.
Here's a ball forward. Moshabani double teamed on the left side, and another great defensive effort by Mason Messina. Just a 5'7" sophomore going up against a 6-foot Moshabani. Long throw into the box, looking for Moshabani, flicked on net, and another clearance. Now Schneider, the senior, trying to organize from the back line. They have really committed numbers forward here, under 30 to play. And what has been a true surprise here at Joliet Memorial Stadium, a 2-0 lead right now for the underdog USF in Game 3 of CCAC conference play. Weaving through traffic, quite a run here. Now maintained. Edgar Pani playing it in and hit away. Again, the freshman, Christian Batangelo. It'll be a throw in for the Tigers. What a save. And a player is down for USF in the box. Play will continue though, and another ball in, and there is Kodo. He has been masterful in the net tonight, the freshman. You really have to give him credit, because this USF team perhaps having their best offensive performance in many, many years in the conference, but also defensively. And now a threat in front of net, and Tayburn deflects. But Ferrer Kodo has been composed and confident in net, particularly for a freshman in a big game at home against ONU. About 25 minutes remain. It's a 2-0 lead for USF. How did we get here? Mohammed Rashid, a free kick after Kelvin Nlovu challenged the keeper Taborn for ONU and was dropped in front of the 18-yard box. Mohammed Rashid comes in and buries a free kick on the bottom right side, giving USF a 1-0 lead, 4 minutes into half number 2. And my goodness, another card has been given in this second half. And I believe that was on Kelvin Nlovu. 4 yellow cards in half number 2, and now both coaches meet at the 50-yard line, talking to each other, wondering what the heck is going on out here. Second goal, though, scored by Nlovu again, not 15 minutes, or I beg your pardon, Mohammed Rashid, not 15 minutes after his free kick. And that is how we have ended up with a 2-0 lead for the home Fighting Knights, Fighting Saints. It's been a physical match, as expected. I believe we've seen a total of 5 yellow cards.
What's up?
Now ONU trying to organize. Now, for the most part here in half number 2, it's the Saints who have been able to, like the first half, deflect on the defensive side. But unlike half number 1, ONU quite simply has not had the same opportunities in front of net that they did in the first half. They possessed the ball with ease. And you have to credit St. Francis for coming out, making the necessary adjustments, and playing with more pace, more confidence, and quite frankly a better work rate on the offensive third here in the second half. And that's why they lead this thing 2-0. As we tick closer to 20 minutes left to play. 3 substitutions have already been made in the second half for ONU. Will more be made? They lack a bit of depth right now like they had in the beginning of the season, particularly their freshman Max Berry in the midfield. Now here's Nlovu with a run. And he is derailed by that back line for Olivet Nazarene. Now a ball forward. And we will see a throw in for ONU. Some of the players you have to watch out for here for ONU. Big bodies in the box, Moshe Bani and Clay Selby. A couple of upperclassmen. Now a ball flicked on net and saved by Ferrer Cotto. One of his easier plays between the pipes tonight. Mohammed Rashid looking for a hat trick, crosses it over. What a save! Oh my! Incredible cleat save by Taborn, the senior. That could have been goal number 3 and the icing on the cake tonight for USF. It'll be a corner kick. Beautiful ball in by Mohammed Rashid, and now a pair of substitutions for USF. And that will do it for Mohamed Rashid. Perhaps just getting a rest, or maybe his night is done. Checking in, we will see Jose Martinez, who started tonight, as well as Stephen Campbell coming in off the bench. And a much-deserved round of applause for Mohamed Rashid. He's given his team a 2-0 lead right now with 20 minutes left. Now a ball in net. And that's flicked away. It'll be a goal kick for ONU. Well, Stephen Campbell, a bit of a defensive move. Kind of a holding midfielder coming in. And Martinez as well. The freshman out of Mexico. Another defensive substitution. So with 20 minutes to play, USF committing more numbers back than they did to open half number 2. Now here's an opportunity and a run, and offside called on this near side by Bruce Bodie. I haven't called his name a whole lot tonight, but Joshua Yeeman has been very active at that top spot tonight in the offensive third for USF. He's done a lot of dirty work, and now he will check out of this ball game for Anthony Scripp coming off the bench, a senior out of Plainfield, Illinois. So another substitution. 3 have been made here, under 20 minutes to go, and a 2-0 lead for USF. Coming off their first win against a CCA opponent in St. Xavier since 2005. It's been a very long time since they've beat ONU as well. A team that was ranked nationally in the top 25 coming into this season. And they have been shocked on the road here tonight. And barring some type of rapid change in this game, they will be handed their first loss in the conference since 2015. They did not lose at all last year. Went 11-0 in conference play. They have an opportunity here on the restart, though, a corner kick. And they send Tumi Moshabani to that far side. Some numbers gathering up front. Throwing bodies at the net. Ball in. And it's flicked away. And a nice clearance that time by Anthony Scripp. Scripp providing some fresh legs. And now another mass substitution for ONU. They've put in 3 fresh legs up top. And now they begin to commit more numbers forward, including Schneider out of the back. A service in, and nobody's home to pick that up. And now this is a dangerous move here, and the goalkeeper finally comes up with it. Carlos Ferrer-Cotto. Boy, not exactly what Daniel Cross, the head coach, probably envisioned in terms of a defensive clearance there, but they handle it nonetheless. What does ONU have left in the tank? They put so much effort into the offensive attack in half number 1, but just were unable to capitalize. Now some space to create in the midfield. But there's that midfield of USF, and now a foot race in Lovu with an opportunity. And he's taken down in the box by Taborn. What will we have here? An argument from Schneider. Miguel Penduro has his hand held up. Taborn wondering what the call will be. And I believe we will see a corner kick for USF. Now a ball in. And it's snatched away by Taborn. Flicked ahead to Moshabani. Now some space to Wallach. Good defensive recovery from USF. And the shot on goal is wide. Again, missing just to the left of the net. That was a good look on goal. Probably the best, certainly one of the best that ONU has seen in half number 2. Now ONU. Up ahead. And a good deflection defensively on the back line. And Lovu. What work rate from the junior. And it's tapped away by Taborn. He does not stop working regardless of the score. It's a 2-0 lead for his club. Certainly a defensive-minded back end of the second half for his team, trying to hang on for their 3rd straight conference victory. But he continues to work after those balls and potential counter opportunities. Now it becomes a situation where can USF continue to hold on, and does ONU find that finishing ability in front of net? It hasn't been there tonight. But the sense of urgency is there. They've committed all 10 players in front of the half line. Now a run on the near side. And Guimares goes down. Another Brazilian native on this ONU roster. Plenty of internationals with tons of experience playing against high-level competition. And a free kick will be taken by the Tigers. Watch out for Richard Schneider from the back line. He has moved up. He is in that cluster. Here comes the ball in, and the service is wide of the net on the right side from Jurin Vandergun. And Mohammed Rashid will check back into this ball game. About 11 minutes to go in half number 2. coming out of the game is Stephen Campbell out of Freiburg, Germany. The senior providing good minutes off the bench here in the second half. And those kind of long balls forward with no direct player to go for. And now a fight for the ball. Boy, the physicality has continued to pick up. And a quick throw in. My goodness. Ferrer Cotto has been on the turf in this second half. Under 10 to go in the second half. 2-0 lead for USF. Trying to hang on in what would be a stunning result here at home at Joliet Memorial Stadium. Nice touch. Flicked into the near side. And now a ball into the middle to Wallach. And stolen away. Hernandez up to Nlovu. Martinez looking for space to create. He has Nlovu. And it's cleared away. Now Mohammed Rashid fires on net. And it's fielded by Taborn. And there's Mohammed Rashid on the defensive side and a ball ahead. And then Nlovu lets it trickle into the feet of Taborn. Under 9 minutes to play in the match here from Joliet, Illinois. A team that went 1-15 last season. They've already eclipsed the total goals USF has from 2016. We're not even midway through conference play. As they get closer and closer to that 3-0 start in CCAC play. And perhaps a chance here to add to another. And an offside called on Nlovu. He is just a pest. Continually finding ways to get behind that back line of ONU tonight. And quite frankly, his pace up top has probably opened things up for Mohammed Rashid. Certainly, it gave him an opportunity to score his first goal on the free kick because it was Nlovu who went down on the penalty in front of the box. And offside called on ONU. Morris. Here's an opportunity. USF, a conservative offensive attack here. They're keeping numbers back as Martinez tries to possess. And an offside call. Again, in the second half, we have not seen ONU put together the type of combination passing on the offensive third like we saw in the first half. And really, that, I think, has been the biggest difference in terms of the opportunities that they got for themselves in half number 1 versus half number 2. So many more shots on net in the first 45 than in this second half. And you also have to credit USF because they have maintained possession of the ball so much more here in this final 45-minute frame. And that man right there with the ball at his hands on the near side, Mohammed Rashid. 2 goals tonight as the fans clap for Kelvin and Lovu, who has been subbed off. Excellent effort up top by the junior. Under 5 to go here from Joliet Memorial Stadium. Final effort for ONU. They have been kept at bay tonight on the road at USF. Now Schneider, and the cross handled by that freshman keeper Ferrer Cotto. Some of the players on the USF bench starting to clap, put their arms around each other's shoulders. They know the result that is coming here. It's a huge upset in the conference. They lead it 2-0 with under 4 minutes to play here at Joliet Memorial Stadium, the home of the Fighting Saints. It's a huge win for this program. Again, a team that finished last year 1-15, taking on ONU, who has won 4 out of the last 5 conference tournament championships. 2 out of the last 3 years, they have made it to the first round of the NAIA tournament. A stunning result for them on the road. And just a top-notch effort from USF. They played a full 90. They made the adjustments that they had to make at halftime, and the players came out and executed. And they have continued to apply pressure, even with a 2-0 lead. And I'll tell you what, Carlos Ferrer Cotto, who is named CCAC Defender of the Week coming into this match, may very well receive another award after his performance here tonight, because he was tested throughout this match and made a couple of really nice saves to keep his team in the ballgame. Only a minute to play. A 2-0 lead for USF. Well, I'm not sure even if you had asked the USF players would they have expected a shutout here tonight, they were confident coming in. They expected a well-fought battle. Dan Cross, the head coach, talked to me about that. But his USF team took advantage of the opportunities that they created for themselves in half number 2. They hung on in half number 1, kept themselves in the ball game as the fans start to come to their feet one by one here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. 10 seconds to play, and a 2-0 victory it will be for the USF Fighting Knights as the bench begins to jump up and down.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Truly a turn in the program for USF. The second year of the Daniel Cross era, and his team takes down the best team in the conference, the Olivet Nazarene Tigers, by a 2-0 score. It was Muhammad Rashid tallying 2 goals tonight. A goal kick in the 41st minute of half number 2, and then coming back again and burying a shot not 12 minutes later. USF advances to a 3-0 record in conference play, their best in many, many years, while ONU drops their first loss of the season. That's all from Joliet Memorial Stadium. Thanks so much for joining us. It's a 2-0 win for USF.